Well, I have a lot of opinions that could get me cancelled about straight women engaging with gay men.
And we're back for episode 2. Hi, I'm Paige.
I'm Aisha.
And we're
Unserious People.
And this is the podcast where we talk about pop culture like it's not that deep, even when it is.
I love you, but you are not serious people.
We're getting really good at that.
You say that. I was panicking the entire time.
I was panicking the first time because we had just made that up right before we started doing it.
But now it's our thing. It's everywhere. So I decided that for the podcast, it would be good for us to start each episode with what we've been like reading, watching, loving in general, because we may not be reading or watching things that often. So in general is like if there is a pop culture moment that we want to talk about, now's the time. My thing was I am currently watching and loving the new season of Love Island All-Stars.
Okay.
I am literally obsessed with it. I think All-Stars is the best because everyone already has history. They all know each other.
So All-Stars isn't celebrities, it's just previous people from Love Island.
Yeah. And so like you know the people, they all know each other. So when they're all going after each other, they're like, you're an ex with my friend, so I can't do this.
They all probably also like have partied together, gone on a Mayfair or whatever it is that these Love Island people do.
I will say, and this is a thing across reality TV in the UK in general, is sometimes it's really difficult to watch as a person of color. There was one woman, Whitney, and everyone will know who watches it, about the episode where this guy, Shaq, really just like digs into her, but doesn't give the same energy to other people who are also calling him out for something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what magazine it was, but there's a magazine, I'll link it in the show notes, who had an article where they talked about the experience of being a black woman on Love Island, how they're always chosen last, how people always come to them with more energy, like they think they can be more aggressive because they expect like a black woman to be able to take it. So it was like really interesting to see the discourse happening after that episode because I felt so uncomfortable watching it.
It's very interesting because as soon as you see them match or do whatever, it's always just like, I'm getting friend vibes. I don't know if I'm just feeling the spark or whatever the key lines are that always come up, and it's just like, is it coincidence that you're never feeling a spark with any woman of color on the show? And they're always giving it their all too. The girls are always like trying their best.
They're also usually like some of the best looking girls on the show.
It's giving maths. How the hell did everyone think Steven was? I actually was gonna say something horrible about the way he looks, but anyway.
You're like, I don't want to get cancelled this
No, it's only episode 2. We have to like really wedge that in there later on. What were we gonna talk about? Grammys?
Yes.
I didn't watch the full Grammys. I only did clips because
time difference.
It's time difference. Yeah, it was really, really late where we are. And on top of that, it was just watching it happen in clips was even more interesting because it was like, does this all happen in the same night? There's so much messiness going on and so much political action, but also inaction at the same time. What else happened at the Grammys?
Bad Bunny wore a bulletproof vest, which...
Was that confirmed?
I don't know. We saw
Someone said he was wearing a corset, and I was like, I don't know what's true.
That's what I'm going to go with from now on. That he was wearing a corset that was so
thick. He just
people
was
snatched.
Yeah, he was just snatched. I don't know.
Harry gave him the award.
So is it always that they have someone who won it the year before?
No. People said that they tried to get Beyonce, and then she said no. And then, again, I'm just perpetuating rumors from the internet. And then they got someone else, and they said no, so Harry was the third choice, and that's why he only showed up for 20 minutes wearing slides.
It's giving taking the trash out.
He was like, I'm in the area. I might
you
as
know
well
when you
just
like when your mom needs help bringing the groceries, so you put your heels on, you put her any shoes, and you go running out. That's what it felt like. He was just like rolled out of bed and was like, oh shit.
And he was wearing like Zoe Kravitz's like blazer top, because I was like,
if that man doesn't stop harassing every mixed race woman, he's collecting them like Infinity Stones.
Are there any left that he hasn't?
I don't think so. Someone was like, Olivia Dean, like, look out in the comments, and then some people were like, girl, I have bad news for you.
Gnarly, the Cat's Eye people came on stage.
Oh yes, Cat's Eye is interesting because there's so much potential there, and all of them are individually extremely talented. Whoever their team is just making terrible decisions. Gnarly was like bad in a campy way. Internet Girl is just bad. Like, it's good in a sense, like musically it's kind of fun, but lyrically just like what is going on. They should have definitely presented like Gabriella, because it's the Grammys. It's about like vocal talent, and that was their showcase to a lot of artists and industry, and I just feel like they kind of did not go for the right move, but that obviously wasn't their choice. So
yeah, and I think like a lot of I think that was just the theme of the Grammys, was it felt very like MTV Music Awards. It didn't feel like Grammys when I was watching the clip. And speaking of musical things, we'll go into what I'm calling Harry updates. Until the album comes out, I think we'll have different things. So the update is, since we last recorded this, we lost the battle that was one night only, but we won the war that was Ticketmaster, Harry Styles touring. And then I say won with a question mark, because did we win or did he win?
We were like at the prison gates, but didn't realize all 3 walls were open. I do think he should have just announced all the dates in one go, because all of that traffic from the first day would have been dispersed amongst many dates, and people would have just bought with reckless abandon and just started purchasing tickets. But people had more time to sit on it and think on it. They had such a bad experience the first day, and then he kept announcing more dates, and I think people just kind of got annoyed and were like, okay, whatever, I'm not gonna bother.
It's been really interesting to see the discourse, especially because some other artists have come out with their concerts recently. So Zayn and Noah did it on Monday, and their prices were very much in line with what we were seeing. Now people are sort of like, is it just concerts in general are now becoming inaccessible because people are being priced out of a regular evening you used to have just going out to see someone perform?
The idea that people are now paying like £350 for a ticket of one night, like a few hours of show, is honestly insane to me. You better be doing backflips. I better get a 3-course meal.
Benson Boone energy, where he's like doing splits on the
Yeah, honestly, pink energy. You need to put yourself in a harness and be flying out. You better be running around the lower bowl for £360 lower bowl tickets.
Giving everyone a little smooch on the way.
Yeah. Kiss all the time.
Yeah, kiss all the time.
With your VIP package comes one
single kiss.
One singular kiss from Harry Styles himself.
So, speaking of things we've been watching and loving, I'm speaking about 2 different shows. We both, I don't think, have watched each other's show, but there is like a weird Venn diagram situation of things and conversations happening. So I thought it might be interesting to talk about. So I'm currently on episode 4 of the first batch of Bridgerton episodes for the new season. And you watched all of Heated Rivalry using my account. Thank you very much. I'm a good friend.
I was like, I'm not paying for all that.
I tried watching it. I only got 32 minutes into the first episode. I've been told by multiple people that I need to just continue and tough it through the first couple until I get to the smoothie shop. The thing that's the Venn diagram, and part of the reason that I didn't really want to watch Heated Rivalry to begin with, was it felt like there was just like this wave and uproar of women talking about this show. And I get uncomfortable when there are a lot of straight women talking about gay media. So I avoided it until I got the Now TV subscription and was like, okay, I'll watch it. And then on the opposite spectrum, we have Bridgerton, where they have gender bent a character who will be in an upcoming season. Like the romance will be season 6, I think is what they've said, where it's going to be 2 women. And the reaction to that has been very different than the reaction to the support we've seen for Heated Rivalry.
Well, I have a lot of opinions that could get me cancelled about straight women engaging with gay men. The bottom line is, you could not show your misogyny more. I actually saw someone post a TikTok about Heated Rivalry, talking about how, a woman, by the way, talking about how she just didn't realize what she wanted was actually 2 boyfriends. First of all, it's all the takeaway of the show. Second of all, your dreamland involves no women. In fact, men who are not even attracted really to women because they're technically gay. But they make an exception for your pick-me-ass, obviously. And you hate women so much you can't imagine dating one, let alone dating a man who even likes a woman, unless it's you. And that you're really just there to fetishize their love for each other. And the reason why you do that, especially if you talk about like projecting heteronormative dynamics on gay relationships, which is a whole other thing, is because you hate yourself as a woman and you want to just project yourself into some submissive gay man role, and see yourself in there doing all kinds of weird kinky shit, and it's delicious for you. It's your woman-free fantasy. Why is it that if you're so obsessed with queerness,
it's only ever men?
So you have to interrogate that a little bit and wonder why that is. And the only reason I can fathom is that you don't really like women all that much.
So I was listening to another podcast, I think it was Everything is Content, because they also watched it recently, and I was listening to it on my way to work, and they were talking about how potentially it was that women felt safe watching the show because it was so far removed from their existence that they could just enjoy it as entertainment.
How far removed is lesbianism then?
You're still engaging with it because you empathize with them in some way. Yeah, I was just like, that's such a weird take to have had about why women might be engaging with it. versus like the common one where we both are like they just center men in their lives
Yeah,
and therefore having
men
more
are
men.
men are the axis in which the world spins. If you're not a lesbian and you're a woman and you're watching lesbianism, is that not also far removed from your reality? Why can you not also enjoy that the same way? It's very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, there was an interesting thing about like fan fiction, because fan fiction is dominated by women, right? But fan fiction continues to have some really problematic themes and actually super misogynistic themes. And some people have speculated that it's like a therapeutic exercise of rewriting your stories or engaging with them in a way that can't actually hurt you. And I feel like that makes sense, but like you don't control this and also has nothing to do with you. It might be a really nice excuse to not interrogate why you don't like women and watching and reading things about women.
It's just basically because they are only attracted to men and they need to. I don't understand people who have to be attracted to someone in a show about romance or whatever for them to enjoy it. I would still be watching the show because it's about their chemistry. I'm not inserting myself into this story, which is how some people watch.
But that's what I mean. But it's also so crazy to me that you're self-inserting into a. It's always gay stuff. It's always gay stuff. Like yes, they'll rant and rave still about like hetero romance movies and stuff like that. But for some reason, they really go hard. And I was like, how is it so easy to project yourself into this?
As someone who, quite frankly, has the opposite problem, where if a book is about a man or a show is about a man, I'm like, I am immediately uninterested in everything about this.
I was really struggling to watch that show. And it did get better, although people were like, it was so much better. And I have to say, and I'm going to go on the record saying this right now, this might gain me some hate, that show was only as popular was because it was gay.
Apparently the books are originally Stucky, so Steve and Bucky from Marvel. It's fanfic of them. So you can kind of, I feel like for anything that was once based on fanfic, the essence of it is always there because like you said, the themes and topics that are explored in fanfic just, they're kind of the tell in a piece of media.
I also find it absolutely strange that it's so sexual for so many episodes before they kind of garner any kind of romance, which is fine. Like, I feel like gay men, if they want to have their take on that because relationships unfold differently and the culture is very different, that's fine. But as a straight woman, you're not watching it because you're like, wow, this is so reflective of like of the culture of gay men. You're watching it because you're like, oh my god, clap his cheeks.
But on the other side, then we have Bridgerton, where they have gender bent a male character, and there's like multiple layers to this, I think, where not only have they gender bent the character and made his name was Michael and now it's Michaela, but I think not only have they gender bent, they've made it a dark-skinned black woman. And I think that has just made people, they're like, we have to defend the sanctity of the books. And I'm like, when has the sanctity of the fucking books mattered for these 3 seasons so far?
It's giving mermaids can't be black.
No, literally. That's been on my mind a lot as I've been seeing the conversations happening around Francesca and Michaela.
There's never support, and the those shows like always look a specific way. So it's going to be 2 femme looking women, as always. Which no hate to the femmes, love, am a femme, love a femme, but it's always very palatable, and I would be so in, like, are we ever gonna get a gender non-conforming lesbian on TV? I feel like they're still so scared of lesbians, period. They have to call them sapphic. It's maybe because we're just like not at that point yet as a society where you can imagine that different types of lesbians exist, and also that that's just like not the reality of the lesbian world for the most part. The lesbians are having a meltdown about the mask shortage, and Netflix is like, and it's all femmes kissing and brushing each other's hair. You would never imagine that masks are even in demand or considered that. It's just because the standard of beauty and attraction is so not the reality that it is for lesbians. They're like, oh, this is the straight perception of what we think would be attractive, which is a beautiful feminine woman. And if we had your same idea of what constitutes an attractive person, we probably wouldn't be lesbians. So
yeah, I'm very curious because they've been very like boobs down for Michaela. I haven't seen her in the episode yet, but I think she's in episode 4 and she's more featured in the later half of the season.
I did. Sure. I sent you an edit. I got a little edit. Yes. So I'm seeing clips. So I was like, maybe I need to tune in.
I think, tune in now. She was introduced at the very end of season 3 and you don't need to watch it for that.
I'll tune back in. I wasn't against it, but I feel like Bridgerton is one of those where you might just have seasons. The same with the books, where you just have books or seasons that you like more because you're more invested in whoever's the main characters in it for that season.
So next week we'll be seeing Wuthering Heights together on Monday. I'm really excited to see that one. There's been a lot of like capital OD online discourse about Emerald Fennel and Wuthering Heights.
Okay, I honestly have been completely tuned out. So I might read everything after we watch the movie on Monday, because I kind of like going into movies a little bit blind on what all the tea is and what everyone's been saying.
Okay, I can't wait to see your reaction, because I've been chronically online about this, so I know exactly what to expect. And as someone who liked Saltburn, which is a very unpopular opinion, I think I'm just an Emerald Fennel person where I'm like, I don't take this woman seriously, and therefore I don't take her film seriously. The New York Mag called it the smooth-brained version of Wuthering Heights.
Sometimes we need a smooth-brained version of things. This is an Unserious People podcast.
Exactly, and therefore we are the prime audience for this film.
Yeah, smooth-brained audience.
And on that note, we will see you next week. Bye. Bye.